Shalom. First and foremost, we're going to give all praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Let's say double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. So, we're coming into the springtime, and you had some things that happened this week. We talked about it earlier, but you got Texas. They're supposed to go back to full, you could say, restoration come tomorrow, I believe. So we'll see how that goes. That can be good news, but I can't say bad news because all news is good news for us. Okay, but we're gonna see how the wicked elite react because I know they're not gonna like that. And it was already believed that whole Texas with the snow, winter storms and stuff was used by HAARP anyway as a punishment. So here they are, bouncing back. So we'll see what happens, right? Because at the end of the day, there's an agenda at hand, and we're going to keep talking about it. They're coming quick with this mass vaccinations. And we don't even really know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? But the technology has these capabilities of everything we're saying. It's not a conspiracy theory. Okay? If you haven't seen the videos, that's because they successfully take it down before you get to see it, but it's definitely out there. Everything we're saying, we show you. These are things that they're capable of doing. Okay, this is how we know the mark of the beast is a chip. Another thing you had that attack that happened in Iraq. Was it Iraq? I believe.
Yeah, that was Iraq, I think so.
You had an attack on a U.S. base where no U.S. people were killed, by the way. But one died of a heart attack. One of the U.S. people died of a heart attack apparently. And they try to say, oh, well, it could be because he's out of shock and all that, which I've learned that you can't have a heart attack after shock can't cause a heart attack. If you have a heart attack, it's most likely because of something else. But it's kind of funny how there was a strike on a U.S. base, yet nobody died. Right? Makes you think that maybe that was a false flag, more excuse, because what they're doing is they're going to blame Iran. We still got an ongoing war at this point. And I did a video recently about the missiles. We're going to talk about that starting off.
It's the article from RT News. It says, U.S. was strike at a time and place of our choosing after rocket attacks on bases in Iraq, Defense Secretary Austin says.
So again, the U.S. is saying, oh, we're going to respond, right? Because it's an ongoing war with Iran. The reason they want Iran out of the picture, or to get them to fully submit, so they can have more complete control over the planet Earth. They want them to take away their nuclear capability. They basically want to rob them of their defense systems and also take access to the oil because of that land that they're in. We all know how the military operates, okay? They create an enemy. They see what type of rich resources they can get from them. So then they start making up stories to justify themselves going over there, bombing people and stealing people's sovereign land. Now they're saying, oh, well, we're definitely going to react. Because again, this U.S. base that was hit, nobody got killed. But now this is justification for them to attack someone else. You see how this works? Right. This man is doing this, man.
It says, Lloyd Austin speaks to Defense Department personnel during a visit by President Joe Biden, and Lloyd Austin is a J. Because you got a lot of our people that's in the military and politics. The U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin won't say who's behind a recent rocket attack on an American airbase in Iraq, but his eyes are on Iran. And he says the U.S. will strike again at a time and place of our own choosing. At least 10 missiles rained down on the Ain al-Assad airbase in Iraqi province of Anbar on Wednesday, killing one U.S. civilian contractor on a coalition base. The attack came after President Joe Biden ordered an airstrike on Iranian-backed militia targets in Syria, which was similarly said to be a response to a previous rocket attack on U.S. targets in Iraq.
So that's just something that happened over the week. So what that spells for you, more bloodshed. So the World War III is still stirring, things are still kicking off in the midst of all this chaos. And you got to remember that what people don't know is that the nuclear missiles, these are actually prophesied in the Bible. Like this missile is actually written in the scriptures. Okay, there's actually videos of simulations on what would happen if a nuclear bomb was to hit, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty, right? But guess what? This creation wasn't by mistake. Okay, it wasn't by accident. The Most High prophesied of this weapon to be used over thousands of years ago.
It's Isaiah 54:17. It reads, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper."
I think it's 16.
16. Verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy.
So the Most High said He created the smith. The smith, aka the occupation of the smith, which is to bring forth weaponry, right? They put it through fire, they beat it to whatever and mold it to whatever they wanted it to be. Whether it's going to be a sword, whether it's going to be an axe, whatever type of battle weapon that it's going to be. Most High said I created that, and I created the waster to destroy. Now the modern day smith today, we would say scientists. I mean, you still have blacksmiths out there. But now we enter a new realm. We enter the realm where guns and tanks and aircraft, all that's pretty much obsolete now when it comes to war. Because the first war that's going to happen this time with guns and all that stuff, that's pretty much going to be out the way.
Appreciate it.
Now you're going to have missiles. You understand? And if a nuclear war was to happen, which is why those simulations out there, the people who teach this stuff, once the awareness to be out there, nobody wins in the nuclear missile. Nobody wins in the nuclear war. Okay, the capability of one nuclear missile, which we've already seen with Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the impact it happens. Right. So if all the countries around the world was to shoot those missiles, who's left to survive? Ain't nobody gonna survive. It's gonna be it. That's it. You understand? And this is what the Lord said He wanted. This is what He wanted. Did you have something?
Yeah. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. So it's letting you know that all this is for the fulfillment of the salvation of the Israelites, as well as judgment on these other nations. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them for their will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
Read that part again.
For behold, in those days. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
It says, in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shabbat. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father. Shabbat means judgment. So the Lord's judgment. That place is in the Middle East. That's where everything is stirring up right now. As the brother just read, and as the brother read the article. That place of judgment is where the Most High is going to bring all these nations together, all for our sakes.
That's right.
Because you got to remember, why can't the U.S. just go ahead and outright just completely wipe out Iran at this point? They got the capability, because who is Iran allied with? Russia. Russia ain't nothing to be played with. You understand? In fact, the most of U.S. bully attempts pretty much fails when it comes down to Russia. All right? Because they've been at it since, you can say, the Soviet Union and so on and so forth. So Russia has always been its own little sovereignty, but they are allied with the USA's enemies. The Most High is bringing all those nations together because Esau's not going to back down. He's a snake. All for the sake of our people. And it's called the Most High's judgment, that place over there. Okay? This is all for us because in the midst of this war, guess what? Our people get highlighted. We're being highlighted right now. Here we are at the brink of collapse. The society is falling in. We have one nation of people standing up, claiming their nationality as Hebrew Israelites, and we're prophesying the downfall of this place. We're not trying to help build this place. We're not trying to restore this place. We're telling you the reason why this place is going down. This is all happening in the midst of all this chaos. That's prophecy, and that's the will of the Lord right there. You know, us being up here isn't by mistake. It's by the will of the Lord.
That's right.
We didn't all just get together one day and say, hey, let's go out and teach the Bible. The Spirit, for the most part, had us meet. Okay? That's how it works.
It's, Isaiah 9:5, and it reads, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." Right, so like the brother read about Yahweh's judgment, Yahweh's Shabbat, Lord is gathering the troops, you know. Hey, but this war, World War III, is going to be with those nukes, because they already done learned their lesson during the time of World War I, II, and the Vietnam War, Desert Storm, you know. Now all these countries got nukes now. You know, so they just building their arsenal and they just threaten each other with bombing each other. You know?
That's right. That's the, like I always mention, that's the gun talk. Like I always mention rap battles, right? All rap battles is, if you listen to it, it's for the most part it's a gun talk. Who can say the same thing but in a flyer or better way? Grab the shotty, blow him away, him and his family. Turn around, back will come, grab the M16 in the that's all it is, right? These other countries, how do they talk gun talk to one another? Are they showing off the latest pistol or the latest aircraft? No, it's all nuclear missiles, man. All right?
Say something. Didn't Joe Biden bomb Syria this week or last week? Yeah, he bombed Syria.
In the push of a button, he can take out a city. That's what got people moving. Like the crowd at bat rattles, you know, he'll say a nice line about gun talk, got the whole crowd oohing. All Putin got to do is go up there and say, we have missile capability that's able to bypass natural defense systems. Put the mic down, and that's going to have all the countries brink up, like, oh shit, you know. The Pentagon, they in there like, okay, you know, he said this, you know, let's move. Is it true? Can you bypass our defense system? Should we upgrade our defense system? That's the talk right now. That's the talk. The ability to wipe out your enemy without even seeing them, being completely across the world by the push of a button. Now give me Isaiah 34, verse 4. You had something?
Yeah. This is Obadiah chapter 1 in verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Like all you see now in the EU and all the nations that were once allies to America, they leaving that, they breaking away from that, and you know, basically preparing to come against them, you know. So it's, you know, older people of our nation got a saying, you know, Jake's, how the worm has turned, you know, like the the rabbit got the gun now. And so they all pointing at E now because of the wickedness that he's done. And it's all through the Heavenly Father that the veil has been lifted and they see exactly what he's up to now. You know?
They're losing their place in this world as a top nation. And really what makes it a top nation is their military might. But if you got a bunch of countries with the same capability as you, maybe not as much, but able to inflict just the same amount of damage to you. And on top of it, they're perfectly fine with getting payback later, right? Because everybody's tired of you.
Right.
You may bully them into submission, or you may even destroy most of their city, but they're not gonna go down without a fight. You're gonna take some loss too.
Shit, let the weak say I'm strong.
12. One war is past, and behold, there come 2 wars more. One war is past, and behold, there come 2 wars more hereafter.
One war is past, and behold, there come 2 more wars after the wars represent war. 2 wars have passed. What's in history known as World War I and World War II, where they considered the world to be at war. However, this new war, they said, what? 2 wars have passed and there's 1 more. This war to come is the end all be all. Because at the end of the day, there really is no victor. If there wasn't any divine intervention, there wouldn't be a victor. Even Albert Einstein said the next war, the war after the next war would be fought with sticks and stones because there wouldn't be anything left. And that's why you can look up all kind of nuclear weapon simulations on the web, because they're just telling you and breaking down to you the impact of a nuclear missile was to hit a city. First of all, if you caught in a blast, you will be eviscerated on contact. If you're outside the blast but close enough, everything that's flammable will be burst into flames. That includes your skin.